remember feeling so forsaken, so forgotten. Like I said that, and then right after I had this, like indescribable experience with the Savior.
Mm. Hey everyone, we are back with another video today. Got someone I'm really excited to talk to today. This is Luke Smith. What's up, Luke?
What's up, everybody? Happy to be here, Noah.
Luke is a good friend of mine. We met several years back, and we have done a lot of great things together, and our families have some great memories together. And he is someone that I've been excited to have on because he had quite a unique experience when it comes to missionary service. He didn't just serve the traditional 2 years. He'll tell us here in a moment kind of what he went through and the lessons he learned. But yeah, Luke, if you just want to start out by maybe telling us why you decided to go on a mission and when that was, and then where you got called to, and I don't know, just kind of set it all
Give
up
the
for
rundown.
us.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do.
Go as far as you want.
Well, I'm stoked to be here, Noah. I've been looking forward to this. Let's see. It's almost been a month from next month will be 3 years, and I just got home like a month or two ago. So
3
like
years
Noah
from
said,
when
I
you
left.
started.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as far as my like kind of why I wanted to get out there,
And I
loved
guess
it.
really quick, you're sorry to cut you off. Luke just barely returned home.
Yeah, I
Like,
just got
I guess
home.
how recent did you get home? from the mission?
March, so
March.
a couple months ago.
Okay,
yeah.
a few months ago.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Anyway,
Anyways,
There you
so
go.
yeah,
Just wanted to make that clear.
I mean, it's been a long time since I left, but
yeah.
I remember it's kind of something always I wanted to do, and I always had great examples. You and Jackson, Dylan, around me. Actually, it's funny. Right when I left, right before I left, or actually no. Do you want to tell them the story of how we met, and then I'll
Yeah.
jump into the
Yeah,
advice you
maybe.
gave me?
Yeah, so it was super funny. After my mission, me and my older brother Jackson moved out to Hawaii and on the island of Oahu. And my mom, right before we were about to move home, she said, hey, I have this family. I knew the mom while I was in Young Women's back when I was really young. So Luke's mom was one of my mom's Young Women's. She was one of the leaders, and his mom had reached out to my mom. I think they had kind of talked, and she was like, "Hey, your boys should fly out to Kauai. They're living on another island, and that's where you guys still live now."
Still there, yeah.
And so my mom's like, "You guys should fly out and go meet this family." And so we did for a couple days, and it was so legit. Like
It was so
we literally,
fun.
like me and Jackson we had never met any of you and your family.
No, first time.
But talk about love, man, and acceptance, and just the Smith family. You guys have such a special place in my heart and our family's heart. And right as we got off the plane, your mom and dad were there with the leis ready to greet us, and you and all your siblings slept on the floor so me and Jackson could have a bed in your house. And yeah, man, and I think we went on like a 8-mile hike that next day, and we'd never met you before, but we just hopped right into it and basically became best friends in a matter of 24 hours. So yeah, that's kind of the backstory
awesome.
with me and
Yeah.
Luke. So
But when we were on that hike, it was my senior year of high school.
that's
And I
right.
was about to end. So I was thinking about a mission. So I was talking to you and Jackson about a mission, and we had just met.
Yeah.
We just clicked, and I remember walking out to it was a beautiful lookout,
Yeah.
and I remember like talking to you guys about my mission, and you were guys like you and Jack said the same thing. You're like, just do not get a girlfriend. Do not get a girlfriend. And but we talked about missions, and we were super stoked. And I didn't take your advice. I got a girlfriend right before I left.
Yeah.
But yeah, I left. I always knew I wanted to go on a mission, and I just kind of felt that pull to go on a mission. A lot of my friends were going, but like independent of anybody else, I was like, yeah, I want to go.
That's
Just because
cool.
I knew it would really help me grow and help me become who I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm. That's so cool. And that's pretty unique to feel that, I don't know, internally. I feel like you said, with the peer pressures of having friends or, siblings or people who kind of expect that of you, sometimes that influences you a little too much to the point where maybe you're going for the wrong reasons, but for you to be able to identify that and like really have the desire, like, I don't know, I feel like that's leaps and bounds ahead of where I was at for sure
Yeah, what do you
going on
feel
a
like
mission.
when you left? What was your motivation to go?
Yeah, I mean, similar. I always felt the duty. I don't know. I like there's so many different ways to look at it, and honestly, like a mission maybe isn't for everyone, but at the end of the day, for men within the church and the gospel of Jesus Christ, like the prophets and apostles have made it clear that it's our responsibility to go and serve a mission, and I think that's such a big decision that needs to be you need to pray about it and figure out for yourself, and it's not for everyone, but I always felt that, and it's something that I took seriously once it started to approach, and it just felt right, and so yeah, made it happen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, there's, I wouldn't say like levels to motivation to go and serve.
Hmm.
Obviously, you want to go out because you love the Lord,
Yeah.
like at the end of the day. But I think as long as you get out there, you kind of figure out why you're out there as you
Yeah.
start going. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I
Absolutely.
think that, like what you said earlier, I think that motivation and desire I had that was like, I just kind of knew. If I don't know, I think if I didn't have that, I don't know if I would have gone through
Yeah.
those trials and those, we'll jump into it later, but those are things I had to face. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I didn't know I was there for myself.
Right. No, and you get tested on a whole new
Totally.
level, and you get humbled, and you learn a lot of things about yourself that you really can't learn anywhere else. Um, so yeah, tell us about, you made you figured out that it's something you wanted to do.
Yep.
Tell me about, filling out your papers, getting your call. Where did you get called to,
Yeah.
and in kind of the early stages of your
Totally.
mission?
Noah introduced me a little bit, but I'm from Hawaii, and not like tons of youth out in Hawaii going on missions. So, um, I was kind like we said before, I kind of knew, and I put in my papers. Went through the whole process pretty easy. There's a lot of miracles that happened. I moved out to Utah the last couple months of my senior year to play soccer over here. Shout out to Noah and Jackson coming to my games.
Hey, let's
But
go.
it was actually a cool miracle getting my call. I had to do one last stake president interview, and my stake president was in Hawaii, and I was in Utah. And like I called him up, and he was randomly in Utah, and
No
so we
way.
made it happen. We
Yeah.
drove down, made it happen. So that was really cool. Like the Lord's aware of you and your process before you
Yeah.
even become a missionary for
Huh.
sure. But yeah, I put in my papers. I got called to the Philippines Bacolod mission,
Okay.
speaking Hiligaynon, and I was
Yes.
like, "What the heck is that?
That's
What is
crazy.
that language?" But luckily, one of my best friends, he also got called to the mission right next to it, Iloilo.
Okay.
And so I was glad I like had a buddy. We were in the
Yeah.
same MTC district,
That's awesome.
and so it was awesome. Um, and there was another one of my buddies who I met there. His name is Tommy Watts, and he was called to the same mission as my best friend. And so we were like we'd see each other a lot, same district, and
And were you in the Manila MTC
yeah.
or
So I
in
went to
Provo?
Provo. Well, it was like home MTC for a week, and then Provo for 4, and then Manila for 2.
Okay. Wow,
So it's
that's
kind of all
cool.
over the place.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that was like the early state. They're kind of testing all sorts of different
What was it
ways
like
with
for
the
you? Did you go
MTC.
straight to
I went
Provo?
to the Mexico MTC
Oh, did you
actually.
really?
Yeah, and then back to Virginia. So,
Wow.
but I feel like with COVID, they've figured out some cool ways to make the transition a little less intense, I
Yeah,
guess. And
totally.
so that was probably
No,
cool.
I love the MTC. I had so many spiritual experiences in MTC. I really feel the spirit through music, and so the choir.
Mm, yeah.
I can't sing. I'm not gonna sing for no. I'm not that
Oh,
great.
we want
But
a solo, bro. Come on.
but yeah, through music, I remember like being in the choir and just feeling the spirit so strong while
Yeah.
music was playing, and just going through that whole process with a bunch of kids your age who are going, have similar thoughts, similar feelings about it all. I didn't know what to expect in the Philippines. I'm like a very privileged kid, so I never really experienced poverty like I saw in the Philippines, and so that was a big culture shock. But yeah, I loved the MTC experience. Made so many amazing friends who I still keep in touch with today,
Yeah.
and lots of spiritual moments for me in the MTC.
That's so cool. I actually was just in the Philippines for a work trip. And we did a day at the MTC.
Oh yeah,
and it is beautiful.
It's so pretty.
It
Did you have
is
any of
so
the food?
pretty.
You have any food?
No, we didn't have any of the.
Ah,
Was it good?
yeah, it's so good.
Oh,
It's
good.
delicious.
Well, that's good to know. I feel like in most situations, like everyone complains about the
Yeah,
food
no,
in the
no. Go to the
MTC.
Philippines. The food will be amazing.
Heck yeah. Well, that's sweet. Yeah, tell me maybe an experience or two um, that you had early on in your mission. I mean, I know a little bit about your experience in the Philippines and stuff, and obviously whatever you're comfortable sharing. But
Yeah.
like the Mike's years, I'd love to just hear some, you know, some big memories or moments from your mission that helped you or were maybe hard for you that taught you a lesson kind of the hard way. I'd love to just hear anything that you're thinking
Totally.
about.
No, I'm happy to share my story and hopefully it inspires these just one of you listening. Um, but yeah, I got to the Philippines and um, I was like I said, just complete culture shock. I mean, it was like, I mean, you see it in the
Yeah,
Philippines, you know, it's like it was just so different than what I was used to. But the people there, man, I love the people there. They took such good care of me.
yeah,
They took me and they're so humble and fed me. You know, they had nothing, but they gave me everything,
yeah,
if that makes sense.
yeah.
And some really powerful experience I had. I remember I was brand new missionary, and you know, like, you got that greeny fire as a missionary when
Yes.
you first get there. And I had an awesome trainer. I was struggling to learn the language, and then eventually I got put with an American companion from the MDC. So we're both super young, like
Yeah.
greeny breaking each other. And I remember like fasting and praying that we could speak this language so that we could help, you know, all of God's children in the Philippines come to Christ. And we were just like praying and working so hard, and it was just like the language just clicked for me and my
Really?
companion, like overnight. Like we could just speak like fluently Hiligano. Like we'd
No
always joke
way.
about where are you from in the Philippines. We'd always say we're from the Philippines because we spoke so well. And it was just such an amazing miracle how
Oh my
God will
goodness.
provide a way for you to help His children come to Christ. And
Both you and your companion.
yeah, both of us.
Wow.
And it was amazing. It was incredible.
That is that's one of the craziest like talk about the gift of tongues like on a
Hmm.
whole new level. I mean,
Yeah,
I was learning Spanish and man, it I mean, and that's probably one of the easier if not the easiest language to learn and I struggled, man. I mean, probably 5 or 6 months in is when I really felt like I could even teach a lesson and even then like I was always struggling. I don't know. That's a beautiful thing. I'm trying to think of a good part in maybe this is less of a sharing moment. I just want to reference um chapter 7 in Preach My Gospel talks about learning your mission language. So if you have a sec, go check that out. But along with this in Preach My Gospel, this gives you some great practical things and um, focuses on when you're learning a language, but praying and fasting. There's nothing as powerful as praying for the gift of tongues. And I feel like, I mean, that's evidence that
totally.
it's totally a tool to use and take advantage of.
100%. And it's not like we just prayed and fasted and then just kind of like happened overnight, but like we put in a lot of effort
Right.
beforehand and then it just kind of clicks. So there's definitely an effort
Right.
aspect
Absolutely.
of putting in effort. But yeah, it was incredible. And I just remember teaching with him. We had so many experiences of just sharing the gospel and being led to, a certain person who I remember a certain experience I'll share. My companion and I, Elder Perkins, the same companion, we were going around knocking doors, talking to people, and we were we were getting punted. We call it getting punted in the
Hmm.
Philippines. It's like nobody wants to talk to you for
Yeah.
some reason, and we were just kind of bummed out. We saw this kid playing basketball, and we were like, "Oh, let's go shoot some hoops real quick."
Yeah.
So we go talk with him, and we're playing basketball, and his mom comes out, and she's like, "Oh, Mangakano, like you Americans, what are you guys doing?" And so we start talking with her, and her name was Michelle, and we ended up teaching Michelle and baptizing her and her son
Oh
that we're playing
wow.
basketball with, and it just really taught me. She had a rough past, and um, definitely learned a lot about Jesus Christ healing power as we were teaching her, and preach my gospel in chapter 3.
Yeah.
There's a section that talks about Christ's atonement,
Okay.
when we're teaching that.
Yeah.
And I remember reading this, and I remember teaching her about the atonement of Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
and it was like everything changed for her.
Yeah.
And for me, like when you teach something,
Right.
you got to understand a little bit better. And so I remember teaching her about that and just seeing Jesus Christ really heal her through the process and leading up to her baptism. It was
Wow.
incredible. But just like God leads you to who he needs you to help. You know what I mean?
Right. Dang, that's so cool. I mean, I love that it was a very normal and natural
Totally.
first interaction.
Yeah.
Like just going to like play some ball,
Right. Yeah.
you know, with this little kid. And I think that's a great, there's a lot of things to learn that from that, is that it doesn't need to be this, you know, intrusive or, you know,
Kind of
abrupt,
forced. Yeah.
forced approach. Yeah, that's a good word. It can be normal and natural things. And, you know, for a lot of kids, like, I mean, you played soccer. I'm sure
Mhm.
there's kids out playing soccer, or,
Yeah.
you know, sports and basketball, and just relate with people, you know, find things that you have in
Connect.
common, and,
Yeah.
and connect with them. Yeah. And start there. And then, you know, maybe it leads to something as good as being able to teach them and
Totally.
become friends with them.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
I learned a lot about that. My mission in San Diego is just like connecting with people kind of off the fly.
Yeah.
I served in a YSA, and we were at UCSD, the campus there, and you just kind of had to like pick up things off the fly to connect, like your shirt or pants, or
Yeah.
you know, just kind of connecting with people in small ways, and you never know what it'll lead to or
Yeah.
what they're going through.
Right. No, that's awesome. So, I mean, we could spend all day, I'm sure, sharing or hearing about these cool experiences you had in the Philippines, but connect that tissue for me. You talked about, you know,
Yeah.
serving in the San Diego mission.
Yeah.
You know, for those that aren't aware,
Yeah.
you know, tell us your story of
Okay.
what that was like. And I mean, anything else you'd like to share from the Philippines, or, you know,
Yeah. Can we
talk
jump
on
into it? Just share the whole story?
yeah, whatever.
Okay.
You
And
want,
feel free to cut me off and ask questions. Okay. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna start sharing my story.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, I hopefully it inspires one of you out there. So yeah, like Noah and Jackson told me, don't get a girlfriend before I left. I got a girlfriend, and I was serving in the Philippines. Like I said, culture shock. I remember washing like all my clothes by hand,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I had to wipe my butt with my hand, so don't shake my right hand, Noah. But it was just crazy. It was
Yeah.
insane, and it was right around Christmas time. I got Dear John. All you elders out there, if you get Dear John, I feel for you. It was a tough time. But yeah, I remember being like, oh, dang, why did I come out here?
Yeah.
You know, you kind of have those moments where I had a tough companion, we didn't get along. It was tough. I couldn't speak the language. It
Yeah.
just kind of like my whole world was starting to collapse. Like, what am I doing here? And I remember just like I would sit at my desk, I'd like read my Book of Mormon. I just like open it up, the Book of Mormon, and it would just be like exactly what I needed, like God speaking to me. And then I go back to my bed and pray. And my companion was like, he would just, it was tough with him. He would just lock himself in his room, and I was a new mission. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, I would just sit in my room, read the Book of Mormon, and that's where my testimony of the Book of Mormon really came to be.
Wow.
In chapter 5 of Preach My Gospel talks about the Book of Mormon
Yes.
and
Yeah.
how important it is. Will you read just
Yeah.
it's the first paragraph?
Yeah. No, this
This
is what I
and
love,
this
man.
thing hit me so hard, and the Book of Mormon became so real to me when I really needed to hear God speak to me.
Yeah.
Is when the Book of Mormon really came to life for me. Yeah,
Just
just
this
that
first
first
one?
paragraph. Yeah, right there.
Yeah. The Book of Mormon, combined with the Spirit, is your most powerful resource in conversion. This book is an ancient sacred record written to convince all people that Jesus is the Christ. As its subtitle says, the Book of Mormon is another testament of Jesus Christ. It is also compelling evidence that God called Joseph Smith as a prophet and restored the gospel of Jesus Christ through him.
Read that first sentence one more time. Just the first sentence.
This one?
Yeah.
The Book of Mormon, combined with the Spirit, is your most powerful resource in conversion.
And that hit me so hard. I mean, that, like, for me personally, I think I was really able to help others when I was first personally converted. And the Book of Mormon, just what you read, did just that for me. And so I had that experience early on in my mission, going through some hard times where the Book of Mormon became so real and really converted me to Jesus Christ. And I had so many experiences with the Spirit reading the Book of Mormon on my own and really putting that time and effort in, and then getting on my knees right after and before and saying my prayers on my bed. I remember doing that for weeks at a time. Book of
Wow.
Mormon, bed, like praying, reading. And after that experience, I was with Elder Perkins, like I was saying. We had awesome times. And then I got emergency transferred. Um, all right, real quick, I'll talk about Lauren real quick, and then I can go
Yeah.
on my story. Talk about the Book of Mormon. Lauren, we were teaching Lauren, and we gave her a Book of Mormon, and she's like, "Oh, maybe I'll read it." And she opened it up one night, read it, and I remember her talking about feeling the spirit like the wind rush into
Mm.
her body, and knowing it was true. And she was baptized with Michelle and
Okay.
Carl. Um, anyways, yeah, so I got emergency transferred up to this remote area, and we took this boat out to this island that I was going to. And on this island, I remember like feeling sick later that night, and I think I was like 180 pounds at the time, and I dropped to like 140 pounds. I was just stick and bone, and I was white. I was coughing up stuff. I got super, super sick really fast. I got diagnosed with dengue fever, pneumonia, something called neurovirus, and I was out for the count. Like I was sleeping 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
I was out really, really sick, and I could barely walk or eat anything. And it was really hard. And I remember like telling my mission president, like, "Hey, I'm sick. Like, I need you. Like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I need to go home or get
Yeah.
some treatment." And yeah, I'm like laying there for weeks at a time, just like rotting. And the medical person didn't want to. The like area medical person didn't want to take me to a hospital because he said I could get more sick there because there's different. It's a third world country with
Right.
their hospital system. So I was just laying in bed and rotting away pretty much, waiting to die. And my mission president came in one day, and he was a Filipino. I don't think he fully understand the severeness of the situation, but he came in one day. My companion would like shake me to wake me up to feed me. Thank goodness for my companion; he took such great care of me. But yeah, I remember he would shake me to wake me up, and one day I woke up and someone was shaking me as my mission president. I was like, whoa. Like I said earlier, I was pretty far from the mission office, so
Right. That's
it
quite
was
the
like a
trek.
big deal that he came, right?
Yeah.
And so he came out and he's like sat me down, and he's like, "You need to like work harder." He told me I was like a lazy missionary. I was like a waste of potential.
Mm.
And I was like, look at me, dude. Like I'm
Yeah.
sick, I need some help. And so I don't think he really fully understand what was happening. Anyways, after that he left, and I was just like so defeated. Like I
Mm.
was already on the edge of like I need to go home.
Yeah.
And obviously I didn't want to go home because I had fought so hard to be where I was, and I
Right.
had overcome all these
Absolutely.
obstacles and whatever. And then yeah, that happened, and it's pretty crazy talking about it now that
Yeah, I'm
I'm
sure.
done off the mission. Anyways, he left, and I was like, I'm gonna you kind of know how I am. I'm like, I'm gonna prove this guy wrong. I'm gonna go out
Yeah.
and work. So I went out to work, and I like passed out on the way to our first appointment, and I woke up in the church like table
Yeah.
in the church, and I woke up and I had this like crazy rash all over my body, and I called the area medical president. I was like, "Dude, you got to get me out of here. I'm done." I called my stake president. I was like, "You got to get me out of here. This is all that's happened." And my poor mom, I didn't tell my mom I was sick at this point, and I told her, and she starts freaking out. She's like, "I'm flying out to get you
Yeah.
and everything." And so just this craziness, and they were trying to figure out how to get me home and what was going on. And I remember amidst all this, I got back home, and I was like laying in bed, and I was like, "Why is this all happening to me?" Again, kind of like, "What am I doing here?"
Right.
I chose to serve God, and I felt so forsaken, so forgotten.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I just felt very bitter about everything that was happening. I was like, "How could you forget me after everything I did for you?"
Right.
And that's where I had an experience where again, went to open the Book of Mormon, just flipped it open, fell right to 3rd Nephi 11. And this is probably like my most spiritual experience of my mission, if not, my life so far. And I was reading 3rd Nephi 11 where the Savior comes. And maybe we can read
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
a verse or two, but
If you want
yeah,
me to pull something up?
go for it. Yeah, it's 3rd Nephi 11, verses 10 and 11, 14. And I would share these, after this experience, I'd share these scriptures all the time.
So chapter 11, verses 10, 11,
And then 14.
and then 14.
Yeah.
You want me to read them?
Yeah, go for it.
Behold, I am Jesus Christ, whom the prophets testified shall come into the world. And behold, I am the light and the life of the world. And I have drunk out of that bitter cup which the Father hath given me, and have glorified the Father in taking upon me the sins of the world, and in the which I have suffered the will of the Father in all things from the beginning. And then 14, arise and come forth unto me, that ye may thrust your hands into my side, and also that ye may feel the prints of the nails in my hands and in my feet, that ye may know that I am the God of Israel, and the God of the whole earth, and have been slain for the sins of the world.
I remember reading that in my little bed and little desk, and it just like I had this like personal experience with the Savior where I know He lives, and I know He loves each one of us. And that He really did take upon all of our pains, our sicknesses. You know, if you put yourself in my shoes at the time I was feeling when I read that, man, it was just like every fear, every doubt just was swept away, and
Wow.
I just had this amazing personal experience with Jesus Christ. And it's like I believe, I know, you know.
That is so powerful, and thank you for sharing that.
Course.
I know those are sacred memories and important, but I mean, that's inspiring for me to hear. I love how you turned to Christ. I think a lot of the time, for me, something that I have struggled with in my life is when I'm going through something and someone tries to comfort me and say that they've been through what I've been through. I don't know why. Maybe it's a me problem, but I was at a tough time hearing that, because when I'm down, in your situation, like when you're in your lowest of lows, and someone says, "Hey, man, like I've been there,"
Yeah.
having recovered and they're out on top, like that.
Yeah.
That's sometimes hard to hear. And honestly, our experiences are so unique, and it's good to relate with people and connect with people in that way, but I think it hits so much harder knowing that Jesus Christ literally felt exactly the same parallel feelings that you felt, both like with your sickness, with your mental state, with any anxieties or depression or fear that you might have. Like Jesus Christ literally felt that, and not just generally, but like specifically for Elder Luke Smith. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like it's not just like, oh yeah, Jesus Christ like suffered
knows
through
you
dengue
kinda.
fever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
It's like, no, dengue fever of Elder Luke Smith at this time in this place, like he felt that, And so
Mhm.
yeah, that's the key, man. If you can learn, and I love how you talked about you gained that habit or that practical exercise to read the Book of Mormon and pray.
Right.
Right. And so when you were in a state where you needed help, like you knew exactly what
It's
to do.
almost like muscle memory.
Yeah,
You know
run
where
it
to go.
back.
Yeah.
Exactly. I love
That's
that.
amazing. Yeah, and there's another scripture in Mosiah 14. This is a prophet teaching about Jesus Christ and his atonement, and I think it's what Noah just said, but in scripture form.
Yeah.
Which
one is it?
verses at the bottom there, 4. I think it's 3, 4,
Right here.
5. Yeah.
3, 4, 5.
Mhm.
He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief. And we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed.
That's totally how I felt. I remember feeling so forsaken, so forgotten. Like I said that, and then right after I had this, like indescribable experience with the Savior, and I just felt with his stripes we're healed. Like that's how I'm healed. Is with his love, and he suffered everything you're going through, everything your family, your siblings, those you love. He suffered that, and he knows exactly how to lift you up.
Yeah.
To help you overcome those things, and that's totally how I felt. I think it's actually 2 years ago, like this week, that I got home from the Philippines.
From the Philippines.
Yeah, it's when
Okay.
so they got me home like right after that, and
Yeah, and
being
how
home was
long did it
tough.
take you to recover?
Yeah, it took a while. I was home for 6 months.
Okay.
So I was home from July to January.
Okay.
And in that time, I mean, I thought I had gone through, I did go through something really hard getting sick. And that was probably my lowest low, what I just shared. But man, being home was pretty tough as well. It was a dark place. I
It's
mean,
not easy.
no, it was really hard. I was recovering, getting healthy, and just kind of felt like my prayers wouldn't get past the ceiling. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd
Yeah.
pray, and like usually on my mission they'd be answered right away.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, I just feel like there was a disconnect. Like it kept my prayers were getting blocked by something. And looking back now, I can see God reaching out to me.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I go surfing, I'll be in the ocean, like I have these moments, these glimmers. My grandpa talks about glimmers, like these little glimmers throughout the day that bring
Yeah.
you peace. I could feel him reaching out to me at times, but looking back, but at the time it was really dark and hard. And
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was going to be able to go back out because I was so sick.
Right.
And I had served a year. At this point, I served a year in the Philippines, and so I felt pretty accomplished.
Right.
And I remember talking to you and Jackson a lot about like, should I go back out? What should I
Right.
do? And you guys were always there for me, so I really appreciate that.
Oh yeah, man.
But yeah, being home was really tough.
Yeah.
And my family and loved ones, Jackson, Noah, they got me through it
Yeah.
for sure. And, of course, Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ carried me through.
Yeah.
But I remember it got to a point where I was like, I don't know if I meant to go back out. Like
Yeah.
nothing, like doctors had to pass me off to get me to go back out, and it was a lot going on. Eventually, I flew over to Oahu to go to the temple in
Okay.
Laie,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, God, like if you really want me to go back out, I need you to send me an apostle. Like that was my ask,
Yo. That's wild.
And I was like, if I don't see an apostle, I'm just gonna go to college and start my life.
Yeah.
But if you send me an apostle, it'll be like my witness to go back on mission.
Wow.
So as you can imagine, I'm going through the temple in Laie, and I didn't see an apostle. So I was sitting there in the ceiling room, my head was hung low, and I was just like, dang, I guess I'm going to college. And I just
Yeah.
kind of suffered his will, like that scripture we read earlier.
Yeah.
Just totally submitted to God's will. I was like, okay, I'll go to college. Right when I had that submission, I hear a knock on the door. And like I turn around, and Elder Kieran, he walked right in.
You're
Because
kidding.
it was the day he got like announced he was going to be the apostle. Because he was speaking at BYU Hawaii. And so I hear a knock on the door. He walks in. He looks right at me. He smiled. He waved and then winked. And then he walked out. And I was just like, I sat there and just like, I beat myself up for a little bit for not going up to talk to him.
Yeah.
But I just was like head to toe. Spirit was just like a flood. I was like, guess I'm going back out.
No way.
Yeah, isn't that
That
crazy?
is so wild.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, I guess I know now. And then
Yeah.
a couple weeks later, I was at your house.
Yeah, that's right.
You want to tell the story?
Yeah, dude. No, it's so crazy going back to these memories. Yeah, so Luke and your brother Zach came over. I think you guys were in
We were in
town.
the basement and we were
Yeah,
just
we were
chopping
just
it
hanging
up.
out,
Yeah.
and Luke was in this situation where you technically had resubmitted your papers.
I was
right?
resubmitted and
Uh-huh.
waiting to hear back if I was going to go where I was going to go.
Right. And so he was about to just get a call from his bishop on where he was going to go. It wasn't like an official letter that you get. It was just a phone call. His bishop's going to tell him where he's going, when he's going. And that whole night we were just like chatting, and you're like, bro, should I do this? Like, is it really the move? Like, I've already been home for a while, and I could go to college, start my life and these things. And I think deep down, even though you were asking us, like
I
deep
knew,
down, you
yeah.
were excited, and you knew that, it's something you wanted to do. And so we're like, man, we'd love to have you here, but there's a lot of people out there, there's people out there waiting for you. And this could be an important part of your life. And sure enough, like an hour later, your bishop calls you, and we have the video. Maybe I'll have to like put it in the episode or something. But yeah, sure enough, got your call, and I mean, you can take it from there. I don't want to say where you're going. That's more exciting.
No, yeah, we were all like huddled up, and yeah, I think it was my stake president. He called me.
Oh, is that right?
And
Okay.
he was
Yeah.
like, I was like, oh my gosh, he's calling.
Yeah.
And we were talking to you guys. They're like, answer it. So I answer it, and he's like, it's on the phone. He's like, hey, is this Elder Smith? Like, I've got your call. Do you want to know where you're going? And I'm like shaking. I'm like, yeah, tell me.
Yeah.
And he was like, you've been reassigned to the California San Diego mission speaking English.
Yeah.
And I was just like in shock. I was stoked to get my call.
Yeah.
and we were like freaking out. If you see the video, it's pretty funny. I'm like
Yeah.
jumping up and down. Noah's hyping
We
me
lost
up.
our minds. That
Yeah.
was so fun.
Yeah, but I was like, and then I was leaving like 2 days later, so I flew back to Hawaii, packed
Is
up
that
my
right?
bags. Yeah,
I forgot
I
about
packed up
that.
my bags real quick, and I had some doubts going to San Diego. I lived in New York for a little bit. I want to go to like New York or LA
Yeah, like
and
big
use my
city.
like Filipino, yeah, big city, like Filipino background. I
Yeah.
was speaking any Tagalog or Ilocano, and I was like, I don't know if I'm meant to be in San Diego.
Yeah.
But you guys hyped me up. A couple of my buddies were like, "Yeah, you're meant to be in San Diego
Oh,
for sure."
100%.
Think about how much has happened.
So true.
But I remember I was like, God, I need another witness, or like I need to know I'm meant to be in San Diego. And so if you remember me talking about my friend Tommy Watts earlier
Yeah.
in the Philippines, we'd gone same MTC district. He went to Iloilo. I went to Bacolod. I had heard he went home, and then he got reassigned to different mission in the States, but I didn't know where. We lost
Okay.
contact, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I get reassigned to San Diego, and it turns out my stake president in New York was the mission president there. So I knew the
Oh,
mission
cool.
president, President Merritt. And yeah, anyways, I fly into San Diego, and I'm like, am I meant to be here? Funny enough, I didn't even have an Elder Smith tag. I wore my friend's tag. I was Elder Drake. So I had a little Elder Drake tag
Yeah.
for my traveling day. And then I get into San Diego, and in San Diego, like the elders pick you up at the bottom of the staircase. So
Yeah.
I'm coming down the escalators, and I see Elder Watts,
No
and
way.
he's like sitting there. He's like freaking out. And I was like, no way. He was confused because it said Elder Drake on my tag.
Yeah.
So he's like, wait. But we both were just like in shock that,
Yeah.
and like, that's all I needed.
Right.
And I was like, all right, let's rock and roll. And San Diego was like, it was amazing. It was so
Yeah.
much joy. I felt so fulfilled. That's where I got to know preach my gospel really well.
Yeah.
I mean, that really helped me out in my teaching. And San Diego, if I could summarize my experience in San Diego, it'd be joy. It was just pure joy. It was
Love
sunny,
that.
and like we were just serving all the time, and it was a lot more of a grind than the Philippines.
Mm.
Things came really easy. People were really interested in the message we had, and the Philippines were really eager and willing to come to Christ. And
Yeah.
the Philippines or in San Diego is a little different.
Right.
The people were a little different, but they're super kind, and I learned so much. Just like social things we were talking about. I served
Right.
in La Jolla YSA for like 6 months in San
Dang.
Diego. And so I learned a lot about how to connect with other people like really fast,
Yeah.
to start a conversation or to get things going. And it was amazing. Everybody I met. And my last transfer on mission, Elder Watts and I were companions.
Mm.
And it
No
was just
way.
like the most full circle thing.
Wow.
And we were
And this is like 2.5 years
yeah,
later.
2.5
too.
years
the
later
fact that
from
you
when we
ended
left.
up in the same spot.
Yeah, and we went home together, and we were both like traveling missionaries together. So we'd like be together for a couple days and then travel around San Diego.
Yeah.
And it was just such a blast.
Mm.
I had so much joy. Like I really came to know how, Christ gives us pure joy. I
Yeah.
really felt that.
So true. Dang, that is so
yeah,
wild. Oh
pretty
my
crazy.
goodness. Man, we'll have to get this Elder Watts guy on.
Yeah, we definitely got. I was
on
talking to him
the pod,
yesterday.
too. Oh,
I told him
sweet.
about the pod, and he was like, "Yeah, give him my information." So,
Yes, absolutely. No, I'd love to hear his side of the story. But yeah, you're just so impressive, Luke. Like, not to just
I'm trying to be like Noah, guys. I'll be
glaze you
honest.
up or anything, but like seriously, you have a special gift to make people feel loved and appreciated, and I can only imagine the good work that you did in both the Philippines and in San Diego, and I love that you got to experience both.
Totally.
And that's such a unique thing. I was talking with a buddy the other day who we talked about his mission. He got to go to Mexico and then reassigned to Reno, and I mean, I went to the MTC in Mexico but didn't really teach anything, and then came to Virginia. But it's cool to just experience different cultures, and something that I find myself coming back to with a lot of these conversations is the light of Christ is spread. You hear the phrase that revelation is scattered among us. A lot of apostles, I feel like, use that phrase when they're teaching on Revelation, but I feel like Christ is scattered among us. Like we all have a piece of Christ within us, and the best way to come to know Christ, on top of reading the scriptures and praying, is connecting with people. Like I feel like I really have come to know Jesus Christ through the relationship with my wife and my friends and my family. That's the best way to learn from each other because we all have attributes and characteristics that we're trying to work on. And usually the best way to learn it is just from a loved one or a friend, you know?
How would you say you've like came to know Christ better by having a child?
Hmm. That's a good
Yeah.
question. Yeah, I mean, what an emotional roller coaster that was, becoming a father. I've been on the receiving end of a father's love for my whole life and nothing but amazing things to say about my dad. But being on the other side, it's quite the experience. You don't realize how how great your capacity for love can expand. Like you think that you max out, like you get your girlfriend or your wife or whatever, and something interesting actually, and I bring that up because I do have this indescribable love for my son. But something that was funny is I was expecting that, but it almost opened this realm of connection with my wife. Like going through that whole pregnancy and birth and now we have like proof that we're like bound together through this child. Like my connection with Olivia is just like I don't know, it's a whole different experience and it's so amazing and it's evidence that it's God's plan. And I think learning about these principles honestly for me on my mission because I mean I grew up learning the gospel and um, there was a lot of testimony development in those early years, but it didn't really become real, and I didn't have a sure knowledge of, you know, baptism and covenants and all of these things. But being able to learn that on my mission and teach it and see the blessings of those things come to pass in other people's life has been a motivation for me to just try to do my best. I struggle all over the place, but at the end of the day, like we're just trying to be like Jesus and try to follow him. So
Totally.
yeah,
How do you feel?
long-winded
No,
answer to
great
your
answer.
question,
How
but
do you feel like your mission has helped you be a great husband and also a great father? Like you kind of alluded to that a little bit.
yeah, I mean, these are great questions. It's interesting having you ask me kind
We
of
flip the script. We'll
flipping it
change
back.
chairs
Yeah.
next time.
No, but I've said this several times that the mission is it's funny how it's you think that you're just sacrificing everything in that you're serving, you're giving it all to Christ and to others and you are doing that, but what you get in return is incredible. Like you like even set aside the spiritual benefits
Yeah.
of going on a mission, but
Hmm.
just like, you talked about going and seeing a third world country,
Right.
and the culture shock and being
Socially
able
connecting with people and talking. Yeah.
exactly like experiencing the world and realizing how great, like how grateful and blessed that you are, but also becoming independent, how to like, work on goals, how to set goals and achieve them and progress physically, mentally, spiritually. I feel like that is what it sets you up for the rest of your life, and then obviously the spiritual benefits are just the cherry on top. But I think as far as becoming a father and a husband, like, you know, you have to deal with companions on your mission. I'd say that is the one of the greatest skills that you develop is learning how to deal with people that you kind of maybe wouldn't hang out with at home, that you'd struggle with and different kinds of people. And it really just sets you up for success because then you come home and you get to pick a wife, or a spouse. And it's so much easier to just to get along and to work towards something that you both have in your mind and as a long-term goal. And so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot kind of a scrambled answer there, but yeah.
No, I like how you talked about a lot of things. I liked how you alluded to chapter 8 in Preach My Gospel talks
Yeah.
a lot about goal setting.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big one for me. That's
Yeah.
helped me a lot. It's like setting
What are
goals.
you doing now that you're home?
Yeah.
Like what are the habits or, practical things you're doing that you adopted in your mission that are
Great
helping you
question.
now?
Great question. I think Well, right, my family picked me up from my mission in San Diego, and then we left to Europe and Africa
That's right.
right after. And so it was kind of like it was hard to.
Yeah.
I wasn't really like in routine like I was on my
Luke
mission.
and his family, man,
Dude,
you guys
guys.
are living the dream. They're all over the world, just have this, experiencing
It
the
was
culture
amazing.
and loving all sorts of people.
I mean, talk about cultures
Yeah.
and experience different cultures. My family's been great giving me those opportunities.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
For sure.
Yeah.
But so it was hard that first month and a half when I was just on the go.
Yeah.
It was hard to keep those same habits. But now that I'm home and it's been a little bit more relaxed, a big one has been writing down, like journaling.
Mm.
Like I said, on the month I was not great at it, but now that I'm home, getting a journal, like journaling and writing down your goals
Yeah.
and how you like your plan to achieve them.
Yeah.
But I love chapter 6, Christlike attributes. Man.
Yes.
I love those are so good.
It's so good.
Because you can constantly, I mean, our end goal is to become like God. So
Yeah.
those attributes are something we got to work on daily.
No, this is such a gem in Preach My Gospel. And I'd say
This is the
I don't
most
know.
sleeper pick of all time, chapter 6.
Oh, for
It's so
sure.
good.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so good.
Because it's crazy how there's all of these principles, or I guess Christ-like attributes that we hear about, and when we're learning the gospel, faith in Jesus Christ or
Mhm.
hope or obedience. And they're very like airy the way that we talk about them, like, oh, you got to have faith, you got to have
Yeah,
hope,
yeah.
you got to, have charity and love and knowledge and,
Be
and
patient,
virtue,
yeah.
and patience. But it's like, what does that even mean? And like,
Right.
how do I actually obtain those
Mhm.
things? And bro, this literally
It's
lays
right
out the
there.
roadmap for you.
It does.
Like,
It really does.
and if you're watching, do as Luke has done and go check this out. Go find an attribute that you may be struggling with. One thing that I actually try to do, I would always do this with, we
Yep.
were teaching the Sunday school with 17 and 18-year-olds, and we were doing this probably once a quarter. But yeah, this
That thing's
quiz
money. What page is that? Shout out the page.
is 136. Yeah.
That
So
thing's money.
it's really cool. It basically just asks you several, you kind of rate yourself, 1 being never and 5 being always, how often you're doing these things. And it goes through faith, and it says, I believe in Christ and accept him as my savior. And then you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5, and it goes through faith, hope, charity, and love, virtue, integrity, knowledge. What are the rest of them? Patience, humility, diligence, and obedience. And then you give yourself a score, and then you
know what
know
to
which
work on,
ones
and
to work on, and
yeah.
it points you to the scriptures,
Right.
where to go.
It's money. It's so good.
So cash. I actually need to do that.
I'm
Run
gonna
it
do it
back.
again. I'm gonna do it again. For me, I focus pretty much all my mission was focused on charity. I really wanted to.
Mm.
My mom's so good at charity. You kind of mentioned
amen to
earlier.
that, yeah.
She's like such a great example of charity.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my mom's good friends. She snuck this book into my suitcase before I left on my mission. It's called The Law of Love,
Mm.
and it's written by Steve Young. And I'm like, I'm not gonna read that. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna focus on the scripture, whatever. When I was sick, I got bored and sick, whatever. So I started reading it, and man, it was so good. It really opened my eyes to
Yeah.
what love is and charity,
Yeah.
and just always being willing to give and love others.
I love
so
that. Yeah,
that
I
was
think
awesome.
my mom actually read that book. I'll need to check it out. I'm glad that you bring that up. And one of the last ones under charity. Let's see if it's still there. Okay. I remember like reading this. I think I was on my mission and feeling like almost like super chastised that I'd never really done it before.
Mhm.
But number 2 under charity and love, it says, when I pray, I ask for charity, the pure love of Christ. And it's funny that I probably couldn't tell you. I don't have this whole thing memorized, but that's the one line that's always stuck out to me. And when I say my personal prayers, I've almost made that, I need to kind of make it more genuine, but it's become like a thing where it's like,
Checklist, yeah.
I am praying for the charity and love of Jesus Christ. And that's something, because charity is a gift. It's something that you need to be given and be
Mhm.
seeking, And so that's a practical one
Totally.
that
I went
helps.
to the temple this morning,
Mhm.
and I was confirming this person, and I think a big thing for me, being blessed with charity, is like seeing others the way God sees them.
Yeah.
Just like that's a child of God. That's
Yeah.
a daughter or son of God, and I should treat them that way, you
Yeah.
know. And so that kind of hit me this morning. But no, I wanted to ask you on your mission, what do you feel like? was the hardest thing you went through on your mission, Noah, and how'd you overcome that?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. There's different for me, there's different kinds of hard, experiencing homesickness or, you know, not being motivated. There's several stories of that. But I think honestly, like rock bottom for me was just like the learning the language. I just had a hard time because I love being able, similar to you, like I love being able to connect with people, and
Mhm.
I felt like my hands were tied. Like I remember,
Yeah.
and for me with Spanish, like my mouth is just not, it's not made for Spanish. The way you have to open your mouth and be so expressive, that just did not come naturally to me. And I read every single morning, I would read the Book of Mormon out loud with a pencil in my mouth. I did it every single morning on my mission for probably 10 or 15 minutes every morning because I was told that it would help me roll my R's.
Really?
And because I could never roll my R's.
Mhm.
And I did that for I mean, I did it my entire mission, but I did it for an entire year. And I rolled my R's for the first time after a year. And it like, and I mean, I still struggle with it. And I gotta like like I have to prep it
I
up,
can't do it. I
but
need a
no,
pencil.
dude, I struggled with it so much. And I just remember like screaming in the car with my companion, like, I can't talk to these people. I want to tell them, I want to share experiences, I want to bear testimony, but I just can't. Like I don't have the ability to. And so that was a, kind of a long, slow grind trial that I eventually, uh, came out of, and I still struggled with the language, but I got to a point where I was super stoked on it. And the funny thing is like one of the very first times that I actually rolled my R's was when I was performing a baptism with a kid who had a double R in his
Wow.
last name. It was Barrientos,
Uh-huh.
and it was just funny the timing of it all. But yeah, that was one for me that like kind of sticks out. There's several others I struggled with. um I get a lot of like chronic headaches and neck and back problems that I'm still trying to figure out. But physically that was kind of a grind. But
Mhm.
yeah, man, it's a great place to experience adversity because you
Totally.
got good resources, you got the
You're
scriptures,
set up
and
perfectly,
you
yeah.
got that one line to God, and spiritually you feel connected in order to talk to him, go
Totally.
through it.
I mean, we've
But
talked a lot about your mission, Noah, and what you've experienced back then and how it's helped you now. But I kind of want to ask, what do you feel like God has been teaching you lately, recently?
lately, I don't know, when I got home from my mission, I was pretty I got to the point where I thought I was so refined and like perfect in a lot of ways. And I thought I had it all figured out. And I was definitely in a good spot and I had some good habits. But I think lately I've been learning how to open my mind and my heart to people and try to not even necessarily understand where people are coming from, but just have patience and understand that there's context to every situation. I mean, for my work, I've been kind of in the media, in the church world, and I see all sorts of content, both critical and positive towards the church and towards Christianity and towards religion. And um, it's hard not to get emotional when watching that. And I think a lot of people do get emotional, and there's some retaliating going on online that, in my opinion, doesn't need to happen and isn't merited. Um, but lately, even when I don't see eye to eye to someone, I feel like God is helping me to just step back and say, hey, maybe, they have context to their situation and they've been through something that I don't understand. Like I was talking about earlier,
Right.
I don't understand. And whether they would not want to hear it or not, but Christ does understand. And so it's my responsibility to try to step back and do my best to love them as Christ would. But also on that same note, this is a big reason why I'm wanting to do this podcast and similar content is I really do feel like Jesus is coming, and the prophet has made clear and in his last few general conference talks, and it seems so powerful and relevant right now because it seems like he's at the tail end of his life. We'll see how long he lives, but it's clear that there's nothing more important than preparing the world for the second coming of Jesus Christ. And so what that means for me and in my family, that will always be the forefront in my highest priority. And from time to time, I am guilty and it's not, and other things take that number one spot when maybe they shouldn't. But at the end of the day, I hope to recenter on that and do everything I can to just be ready for that, because I don't know, it's a serious thing, and I think we need to be a more God-fearing people, and we need to understand that he has a plan, and it's happening before our eyes. And I don't want to get all doomsday on that, because I think there's a balance. You don't want to go too overboard on looking into that, but luckily we got prophets and apostles and preach my gospel in the Book of Mormon and all these resources that are
We got Noah's podcast.
No, man. I mean, that's the funny thing is with all these voices in the world, both positive and negative towards Jesus and his church. I think it's important to not find other idols. Elder Cook actually talks to this quite a bit, but that we shouldn't have idols, and that can be in the form of something physical, money or houses or boats or whatever it is. Those can be things that you idolize, and idols also are people. And so with creating content, it's interesting because there's a lot of people online who really like to share their opinion and their perspective on things, and there's so much to learn from all sorts of people. And I think it's awesome that people are sharing things online, but at the end of the day, I hope to just point people to Jesus Christ. Like, don't listen to me, don't listen to Luke, don't listen to like, we're not the last word. Jesus Christ is. And so if these videos do anything, I'd hope that it turns people to Jesus Christ and his gospel, so,
Man.
but
Dang, Noah, I really felt the spirit while you were speaking. I was
Thanks, bro.
feeling it. I remember like one of the last time we were like making, before you get transferred, you're making the rounds
yeah.
to members, whatever, friends. And
Mm.
I remember like right before I was coming home, we went over to this house, and I remember bringing my testimony and like telling them like Jesus is coming again, like, and he's coming soon.
Yeah.
And we need to be accountable for getting ready. Like, we need to prepare ourselves. And hearing you say that again, I was like, wow, he's coming sooner, and I got to make sure I'm doing what I need to do
Yeah.
to be ready when he comes, and make sure that I'm also helping others around me
Yeah.
prepare themselves, and that we're helping each other
Yeah.
be ready
Mm-hmm.
and be more like him. And yeah, it just hit me. Like, what are some things like there's like the obvious answers: going to church, scriptures, prayer. But what are some things you've been doing that's been helping you prepare and help others prepare for when Jesus comes again?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll be honest, it's been an interesting time because a lot of my work in my day to day, I'm, shooting and editing videos about the gospel. And so it's been kind of an interesting balance, but it's been really cool because I get to basically study the gospel all day long in a way, and it helps me learn things that I don't think I would learn if I was just doing other sorts of work. And not saying that this is the only way to go as far as spending your time, but I think lately I've been super focused on family, just because we're starting our family here, and having a kid is it's a crazy thing and an exciting thing. But I think a lot of the things that I'm trying to do are to help me be the father that my son needs, so that when he is going through life and figuring it out, I'm there to, lend a hand and point him to Christ. I'm not his last resort. I hope that he can learn through me and through Olivia that, the gospel is there to help him out, and Jesus Christ is there. And so, yeah, I mean, your cliche answers, praying is a huge thing for me. Trying to go to the temple. I love that you went to the temple
Yeah.
earlier today. I mean, there are fewer things that are as important as going to the temple regularly. And so, yeah, those are
That's
a
really
few
that
things.
the answer is really humble because I feel like if I'm the father, I'd want to be the one like, look to me, I'll provide for you, I'll take care of you.
Yeah,
That's really humble of you to be like, look to Christ. Like I'm there for you and I'll sit in the mud with you while you're going through it.
yeah,
But like Christ is the one who's got that. I like what you said, that parallel empathy,
yeah.
you
Well,
know?
and I mean, in my opinion, serving a mission, being a father, being a friend, being a son, like those roles are only possible with Jesus Christ by your side. Like I don't think I could ever be a husband or a dad without Jesus Christ, but the amount of confidence that he provides to us when we're stepping up to those roles or those phases in life that seems so overwhelming and impossible. Like the fact that you can just get sent off to the Philippines in
Yeah.
this random island, like
Learn
not
this
knowing the
crazy
language,
dialect. Yeah.
but have a smile on your face. Like, dude, that's nothing but Christ.
Hmm.
That's nothing but him, but like boosting you and giving you the confidence and stoke you need to just be excited about it.
Yeah. Like, I'd hear very often how like Christ would magnify your abilities. And I saw that that was so true. Like he
Yeah.
multiplies the harvest. That was so true on the mission. Like
Yeah.
given me gifts, giving you gifts, and you see him multiplied on the mission, and you
Yeah.
see your strengths improved and your weaknesses turned to strengths. It's amazing
Yeah.
what can happen. It's all because of
Dude,
Christ.
this conversation has meant a lot to me. And I didn't realize what I wish I could be a fly on the wall out there while you were serving a mission, because I'm sure you just killed it, and I know you did. I read your letters, and so inspiring. But a lot of lessons to learn from this conversation. If you were maybe just wrapping up,
Hmm.
if you had advice to someone who's about to start a mission or start a new chapter of their life, what would you say to them?
It's a great question. Um, if you're thinking about a mission, if you're sitting on the fence, I'm gonna come down. I'm gonna kick you over that fence because I loved my mission. It meant everything to me, and it meant everything to me because of the relationship I gained with Christ and my testimony of him and my faith that's been built in Christ. And if you're thinking about a mission, just go. Like, just go. If someone's holding you back, call me up and I'll convince you to go. Like, just go on a mission. It'll only do you good. Um, and even if you go through trials like I did, like Noah did, like all of us do, it'll only be for your gain. It's one of my favorite things. All things work together for your good. It's one of my favorite scriptures. Advice, as far as advice go, I'd say just be focused on love. Be focused on pure love. Pray for charity, like Noah said, like Christ says in the scriptures. One of my favorite scriptures is Moroni 7:48, just talking about charity. And I remember I would always pray to have Christ's countenance engraven, or Christ's image engraven on my countenance.
Mm.
And if you're thinking about a mission, like I said before, just go and pray for charity. Pray to be a force for good in the world. And on your mission, you're going to have so many amazing experiences. You're going to meet amazing people. You're going to bless lives. People are going to bless your life. And I promise that it'll help you grow closer to Jesus Christ if you choose it. Um, again, we all have agency. It's all up to you. So choose to be all in, and I promise it'll make all the difference. It did for me.
Yeah.
And if you're starting a new chapter in life, I'm starting that new chapter too. So just trust in God. That'd be my advice. I think I've gotten caught up. You're talking about idols. I think I got caught up pretty easily in idols.
Yeah.
And so hearing Noah talk about idols, I'm like, man, I need to put myself in check and take a step back. But at the end of the day, I trust God. I know where He wants me to be at the end of the day. And so if you're starting a new chapter, just trust in God And if you ever feel forsaken or forgotten out there, just know that God knows you by name. He's aware of you. He's mindful of you, and He wants you to feel joy, regardless of what's happening or not happening in your life. And just trust in Him and reach out in prayer. And I promise God will always answer your prayers.
Love that, man.
That's my advice.
I testify of what my companion said.
I actually brought some stuff for my mission.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah, let's see it.
Go grab it.
We get a little extra entertainment from Luke. He's not your average guest.
No, we got it. We got a little surprise. We got some surprises here.
Let's go.
This is the bag I always proselyte in.
Okay.
This is my go-to bag. First, these are the missionary essentials for me.
Okay.
The mini scriptures.
Yo.
This is. Did you have
Yes,
these in
sir.
your mission?
Yeah, I have. There's some right there.
Oh yeah. Oh, you got the mini quad.
Yeah, the mini
That's
quad.
way cooler. Okay, but this thing is awesome.
Okay.
In San Diego, I baptized somebody in the ocean. I don't even open this thing. And I actually just got all this stuff back yesterday.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so
Good
check this
timing.
out, dude.
Yo.
Check
No
this
way.
out. This is the beach where I baptized somebody, and a member painted this for me.
No
Isn't
way.
that pretty crazy? I'll show
Okay,
the,
yeah.
show the
Show it to the camera. Right there. There you go. Our Waters of Mormon. That's
There it is.
fire, bro.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
pretty
that.
sick. Have you ever seen one of these before?
I don't think so.
This helps so many people progress the covenant path.
Baptism begins our journey on the covenant path. Cool.
This is what would help, like when we put
Just a
people on
little.
date, we'd help them out, a little visual.
There you
This
go.
is my journal. Look at this thing. This is like my study journal. A little San Diego study journal.
Yes, sir.
Here's my
fire.
ultimate relic. Look at this, preach my gospel.
Yes. Just thrash,
This
bro.
thing is thrashed.
Let's go. That's what I love to see, man.
This is fun stuff. Okay, but
I
check
know,
this
you're-
out. Look at this Book of Mormon. Someone
Yo.
painted this for me.
That's
Look how
so
sick
legit.
this is.
Heck yeah. Yeah, this is, I feel like most missions, was this in San Diego or was this in the
Yeah,
Philippines? I feel like, honestly, like stateside missions too, like missionaries or members will get on this, like, this wagon of painting Book of Mormon. Here's the book.
This is the book.
Steve Young, The Law of Love,
Man.
the OG.
Look at this journal, man. This
Yo.
thing.
This is Joseph Smith's journal, bro.
That's in the
Sheesh.
Joseph Smith papers.
Yeah, bro. See this in the Church History Museum. You're a legend for this, for repping the old leather.
Yeah, look at this one too. This is from the MTC, man.
Okay,
Look at this thing.
let's go. But bro, I appreciate you
Dude, it's
coming
been
and chatting.
awesome.
It's been so lit.
pleasure.
You're
You're
a
the man.
legend, bro.
You're the man.
That's Luke Smith. I guess he at the end of these episodes, I like to remind people to go review the sections we went over and preach my
Totally.
gospel. I mean, we're in Mosiah chapter 14 of the Book of Mormon, 3rd Nephi 11, chapter 7, learning my language, chapter 6.
6, 7, 8.
Man, just go study all of Preach My Gospel after this.
Seriously, do it. It'll only bless your life. It's
Yes.
not just for missionaries as well. If you're starting a new chapter in life, like Noah's saying, go read it because it's helped me out.
Yes,
Post mission.
100%. Sweet, bro. Thank you.
Noah, you're the man. You're the
Heck
goat.
yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Yes,
It's
sir.
a pleasure.
And we will see you on the next video. Peace out.